a lesbian. He asked me one day, so, you gonna be a dyke? As if it's a choice I make every morning, as if I say, today, I think I will be a lesbian. I'll slip into my Birkenstocks, recite Andrea Gibson in the shower, and drink my lesbian green tea. Instead of eating bacon and eggs for breakfast every morning, I'll have a shot of wheatgrass juice and love it. Love it like I love to shop at adult toy stores for things that aren't even toys, but can be if I use them right. I will rumble down the streets in my Dodge pickup truck, my mullet shimmying in the breeze, with my left red flannel elbow hanging proudly out the window, turning the heads of everyone in town, gay or straight, making them quiver at the thought of my unshaven legs upon theirs. I will only play Melissa Etheridge on my radio, beckoning all the ladies to come to my window, and then we'll go pitch tents in forest and have campfire sing-along / makeout sessions, because God knows that's the only way I'll be getting any wood. And being a lesbian, I will have as much sex as possible because I can't get pregnant. And all the money I'll save on condoms and birth control, donate to PETA or ASPCA or any other organization dedicated to protecting friendly furry creatures like beavers. You know you like beavers. You know it. I will hold the hand of my current lesbian lover, and we will make out in front of straight couples, old people, and Sunday Republican bake sales. And I will only purchase pantsuits, overalls, or cargo shorts because I don't do dresses, though I wouldn't mind undressing some fine-looking dress-wearing female femmes, but only if they recycle. And when the day is done, I will shower but not shave my legs because I love the feeling of fur in the mornings, and I will throw my deodorant to the wind because my natural body odor is delicious. My father thinks I'm a lesbian. So you know what, Dad? Maybe I will be a lesbian, because if the stereotypes are true, it sounds fucking awesome. All right, I would like to welcome up Scarfman.
We want to create something together.
With everybody in this room.
You guys be the paint, and we'll be the painters
in this space.
Above all our heads, well, that's gonna be our canvas. So you.
I need for you to imagine for me over here 4 teenagers coughing and smoking cigarettes under a streetlight in the snow.
And one of them has just the thumb of his non-smoking hand tucked in his jeans while leaning back on the light pole with that devil's grin only 13-year-old boys get the first time they think they're cool. And you. Will you imagine for me over here a bull? His hoofs crushing rocks into dust and dust into nothing. He's snorting and his horns are cut halfway, but his muscles are churning, practically bursting out of his black hide.
When the rider mounts him bareback.
Black cowboy hat tipped down.
He puts one gloved hand in the ropes and the other in the air for the judges. And to him, the crowd goes silent.
All he hears is the low jingle of his shaking spurs just before the buzzer sounds.
And you. Will you imagine standing beside me, a 6-foot-tall, 19-year-old blonde girl, twirling fireballs and dancing in a drum circle. She moves like a puppet, and the rhythm's got a hold of her strings, and when she spins, trails of fireplay connect the dots with the stars like she's cutting the sky into pieces.
And lastly,
will you imagine back there?
A middle-aged rock star on his deathbed.
Machines keeping beat where his drummer used to be.
And he's got needles sticking out of his veins like nothing had changed from his days on the tour bus.
But from his view, you can't even see the ceiling because of all the balloons sent in by fans who right now are blurring the line between strangers and family.
And there's the nurse, dressed in the same starch white as his skin. She reads him their note slowly and over again.
Now think, why was it so easy for you to imagine the people in these scenes?
And trust me, it had less to do with our painting and more to do with your paint.
Because at some points in all our lives,
we've been a 13-year-old boy who thinks he's cool. And I doubt anyone in this room has actually ridden a bull.
But in this culture,
no matter who you are,
you know how it feels to battle something larger than yourself. And then at moments in your life you may not even realize.
Like the girl dancing in the drum circle.
You were beautiful in a way so honest, it shook whatever heaven you choose to believe in.
And unlike the rock star, most of us will never stand in front of a stadium full of fans,
but before we die, we are united in the hope we can look back on our lives with some proof we accomplished whatever our purpose was. Surely that's the most we could ask for.
And maybe the most we can ask from each other is to spend a little more time finding what unites.
Instead of fighting over what divides, because although the scenery may change,
the struggles and little victories over death remain the same, which makes me think that you
and I share paint. Next up is Leah Gold. Please welcome her to the stage.
from old buildings and new ages, the world's second biggest statue of the Christian Savior overlooking a town that's getting gayer and gayer. But I mean that in the good way. Not how the rednecks who live across Kings River say, when what they mean is dumb, because the place where I'm from is unique. An island of culture in a sea of buckshot and buck teeth. A tiny tiered town whose streets never meet at right angles, where the Star-Spangled Banner flaps beside a rainbow flag, and where some let their Bible belts sag below expanding waists, while those with different tastes meditate in green space for things like world peace and human rights. But where everyone prays when they wake to sirens at night, because at the end of the day, we're all family. We all live in a kind of fantasy, in a city founded on magical healing waters, where legend has it a Sioux chief's daughter lost her sight to an eye disease. But when she bathed those broken eyes in Basin Springs, she was amazed to find that she could see. So out of curiosity, people arrived, hoping to feel a little more alive by the time they bathed and left, and some of them never did. They built houses on the hillsides and had some kids and started all sorts of businesses to make money off the people coming in to see what it was all about. So we've always been a tourist town. And even though 3 times the whole thing burned down, 3 times we cleared the blackened ground and built it back again. I'm not quite sure when it began to be the place it is today, when the artists and the writers and the dreamers came to play. They lost their hearts to the Ozark Hills somewhere along the way. Those for whom life burned inside their bodies like fevers created a culture that favored believers, which in turn fostered a consciousness that grew, willing anybody passing through to let themselves be taken to, and all it asked in return was love. Not just for itself, but for anyone who had ever breathed its air. And even if the waters never brought any miracles, there's something spiritual about just being there. A place where reality appears different to every eye, where weed and homosexuality are both decriminalized, but it's still the Midwest. So on the day of rest, people dressed in their Sunday best head to church to pray for the hippies and gays before sitting down with both at the brunch buffet held once a week at Murdy Mays. The place where I'm from boasts hillbilly fiddlers and African drums. Trolleys wind through little Switzerland, past studios, galleries, shops and inns, past herbacies, craft fairs, farmers markets, past the monkey man on his Basin Park bench, and past apartments made from Victorian homes, past the historic cemetery where 5,000 sets of bones decompose, outnumbering those still supporting living flesh. Eureka. I have found it. Though everyone around it thinks we're kind of weird, we are hicks and hippies. We are Christians and queers, both hitting bongs and thumping Bibles, but we ask you for no outside revival because we don't need it. We claim love unbounded. Eureka Springs. We have found it.